Oh, I think
Make sure this is.
that's better than this. Guys being brothers. Just look at this.
How did you know? Rude. Hi, guys. Okay, so we are going to start today's rehearsal with a little arm wrestling as we're doing this.
Whoa!
Yes! Caught it! I told you. Okay, there's a jumping ahead of me. So,
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Whenever you guys are ready, go ahead and start arm wrestling as we try to do the dialogue for the scene.
Weak bang.
Okay, I see. Okay.
Okay.
Ready?
Yep.
Okay.
I should go. I should get going too. Got like a ton of errands to run too. You?
I totally
Work.
don't me, man.
Not just
What?
I mean, even you have to admit, after spending 4 or 5 days together, just the idea you're going to go off and have sex with a bunch of other dudes is not exactly, un-odd.
No, it is not an odd. But what would I do for money?
I make a ton of money. I can, give you some. I'd do that for a friend.
And what? Oh, I'm gonna be like Hollywood pool boy, the kept boy, Mr. Green's assistant.
God, no, stop that. I never said that. I never even thought that. You must have low self-esteem.
A prostitute with low self-esteem. What will I think of next?
Alright, I'm going to stop you guys for a second. I try not to hurt each other.
Okay.
No, it's just because
Let's-
I broke my arm like
Do I
freshman
break my
year,
arm?
so
Oh,
it's still like.
Switch hands then.
sometimes, yeah.
Absolutely, switch hands.
Oh, this
This
man's
isn't
amazing.
gonna be much better
As
for
we're moving
me.
forward with this, this exercise is not necessarily meant to be about actually ending arm wrestling. But at the same time, I don't want to really say that because I want you guys still to go for it.
Okay.
But I want you to, as you're going through the scene, be fighting for the scene still. The arm wrestling is happening, but I want to see you doing all the same fighting that you guys are doing as you're usually running through the scene. Trying to work for what we want from each other. Okay?
Okay.
Going to begin.
Where were we at?
Go ahead and start from back from the beginning.
Okay.
I should go.
I should go too. Got like a ton of errands to run. You?
Work. Don't me, man.
Not just
What?
I mean, even you have to admit, after spending 4 or 5 days together, just the idea that you're going out to have sex with a bunch of other men is, not odd.
No, it is not an odd, but what would I do for money?
I make a ton of money. I can, give you some. I would do that for a friend.
And what? Oh, I'm gonna be like Hollywood pool boy, the kept boy, Mr. Green's assistant.
God, no, stop that. I never even thought that. You must have low self-esteem.
A prostitute with low self-esteem. What do I think of next?
Don't say that about yourself. If you wanted, I have friends who hire people for jobs of legitimate variety. Like, I could call them and they could hire you.
That should end in tears.
That's your call. So today, how many?
Clients?
And the euphemism flies.
3? No, 4. 2 uncles today, 2 plain.
Pleasant.
Why? You want me to quit?
I can't tell you. It's not my place to tell you or ask you. Do you want to at all?
The question was, what do you want?
What time do you think you'd be done around?
Remember to keep fighting for
Yep.
what you want. Keep your tactics. Keep trying different ways to get at each other. If something's not working, try something different.
Okay. I'm cramping. Did you want to see me later?
God, talking to you is like sewing a button on cottage cheese. Yes, I would. Like to see you later. I guess, sure.
Well, I should get back home, run some quick errands, pay rent. Ellen might be there. I think she's kind of taken over.
Ellen is your girlfriend.
I don't have a girlfriend.
And will Ellen be number 5?
Okay.
What?
Okay.
What?
Okay, can I just say okay? I see what you're doing here, okay? I mean, you're hemming and hawing your way around the whole being open to being happy and being content thing. And I admit, I'm all for it. But the thing of it is, there's going to come a time when you're going to say, I just want to be with you, and you just to be with me.
I think we're getting so far ahead.
And I won't be able to do that, or feel it, because that part of me was torn down, dismantled, so that there could be this magnificent structure which stands before you.
Only do what you want to do. We're just 2 guys hanging out.
Are we?
Sure. Maybe. But like tomorrow, are you free all day? I mean, like free, I don't mean free like no money. I mean free like open and available. It's just the 2 of us tomorrow, right?
So far.
So far, it's kind of hard to make plans around so far.
Okay. Tomorrow I will be with you all day. I will have sex with 4 men today to pay rent, and then I will meet my ex-girlfriend, and we will not touch the parts that are different. Then I will come back here, and I will spend the night with you, and then spend all of tomorrow with you. There.
I mean, if you're up for it, if you want to. I'm not saying anything here, but
Why do you even have an agent? You're a really good negotiator. You got me to think about giving up my livelihood and about giving up my pre-existing personal life, and you put nothing of yours on the table. Hell, you haven't even brought anything up, have you?
I don't know what you're talking about.
All right. Thank you guys for going along with me on this. Since it's an exercise that we've had to do in a few of our classes, and I would like to ask you, what do you think I want? Why do you think I'm asking you guys to do this exercise?
Because arm wrestling is a very competitive thing. It's about winning and about trying to make sure that you're putting what you can in.
I think we talked about it a little bit in Vanessa's class about someone always has the upper hand and someone always has the power, and it's always kind of like a struggle on who has the power, who has the upper hand, and sometimes it's not that obvious. So I think this was kind of just like a physical demonstration of you're always struggling you're always fighting for something, and how you achieve it is just kind of
Judging by the imprints in my hand, I would say so.
That
I've never
touches
done
on
wrestling. I'm god at that.
part of it. That I mean, in the first place, this it just helps with voice work. Actually, you're engaging your core and engaging yourself as you and physicalizing as well as using your voice. And so I'm already hearing a lot like just stronger vocals from you guys, but that's a part of why people do this exercise. But the other reason is, yes, to kind of see where we think the power is in this scene, you know, and as you continue to bring this exercise up in future scenes, I would, you know, be aware of that and think about, you know, at what points do you feel like your character is able to give more strength to it, and when are they, you know, kind of starting to lose? When are they starting to lose that battle for who has the upper hand in this scene? And I would definitely say that that is a part of the scene that I think we talked about a little bit last week, that we want to, both of you are kind of fighting for power over this relationship in your own ways, and that you want to be able to have power over your own lives / the other person, because the other person in this scene, you know, both of your others are very connected to what you want as yourself in this. And so yes, that fight is happening. And then on top of it all, stakes. Today in particular, I kind of want to focus on stakes and the idea of our stakes. And so we talked about last week, or on Sunday or whatever, we talked about the characters a lot more and just what the characters want. And I think we're at a point now that we can start trying to push for living in that, you know, and trying to use those given circumstances and use what the character wants and use to fuel the scene and fight for what we want. So let's go ahead and set up our
There's a chair here, right?
yes. Set up our scene, and I want you guys to think about kind of this arm wrestling exercise and where you think the moments are that your character is able to push back, where you feel like you're being pushed back in this scene. Okay. And then we'll go from there. Okay. I might do a little bit of work with stakes as well.
Okay.
It's going to be a fun day for you guys.
Let me. Yeah. Scatter.
Yeet.
You whore.
All right, go ahead and begin whenever you guys are ready.
I should go. I should get going too. Got like a ton of errands to run. You? Work.
Don't me, man.
Not just Ah!
What?
I mean, even you have to admit, after spending 4 or 5 days together, just the idea you're gonna go you're gonna go off and have sex with a bunch of other men is, not unodd.
All right, let's stop. Run around the room. Run around the room. Run.
Ah!
I'll run with you guys.
Oh, Jared!
Are you okay? Yes, I'm good. Be
You
careful.
need to take your socks off?
I was like, do you? Yeah.
Take your socks off. The stakes are even higher. There you go.
Okay. Run around the room. Here we go again. Run. And push up against each other. Just grab hands. It's like, don't hurt each other. Remembering that we're never wanting to hurt each other in these scenes. Push up against each other. And run.
Run, you're running. Oh, don't fall.
And push up against each other. And let's go from, even you have to admit.
Even you have to admit, just after spending 4 or 5 nights together, the thought of you running off with a bunch of men to have sex is not exactly, unodd.
No, it is not unodd. But what would I do for money?
I have a lot of money. I'd be more than happy to give you some. I'd do that for a friend.
And what? Oh, I get to be like Hollywood pool boy, the kept boy, Mr. Green's assistant.
I
Just
never-
go ahead and let that go. Thank you, too. Okay, let's hop up on our feet right now. Let's, now not pushing up against each other. I want you guys to keep that because already I was seeing a lot that stakes, physicalizing and running helps us find that stakes that we need, that everything is urgent. We watch theater because things for these characters are life or death. And if you can instill that you need the other person in this relationship, then it will help drive those stakes. So let's start right from that same moment of, even you have to admit, but now we're just going to do the scene like we are regularly.
Okay. Even you have to admit, after spending 4 or 5 days together, just the idea of you going off and having sex with a bunch of other dudes is not unodd.
No, it is not unodd. But what would I do for money?
I make a ton of money. I can, give you some. I'd do that for a friend.
And what? Oh, I get to be like Hollywood pool boy. Oh, the kept boy, Mr. Green's assistant.
God, no, stop that. I never even thought that. You must have low self-esteem.
All right, let's take it back. And Jared, is there a chance that if you say the wrong thing, that he might walk out that door
Don't leave
and
me.
not come back?
Yes.
Okay. That is in the character. That you have to be. That has to be a part of this scene. That there's a possibility for both of you that if you say the wrong thing or navigate this conversation the wrong way, that the other person is going to walk away and never come back. So let's take it back to that same moment and use that as your fuel.
Okay. Even you have to admit, after spending 4 or 5 days together, just the idea of you running off to have sex with a bunch of other men is not exactly unodd.
No, it is not unodd. But what would I do for money?
I make a ton of money. I would be more than willing to give you some. I'd do that for a friend.
And what? Oh, I get to be like Hollywood pool boy. Ah, the kept boy, Mr. Green's assistant.
God, no, stop. I never even thought that. Huh. You must have low self-esteem.
A prostitute with low self-esteem. What do they think of next?
Don't say that about yourself. If you wanted, I have friends who hire people of, the legitimate variety. I could call them and they could, give you a job, hire you.
That should end in tears.
It's your call.
So,
Today, how many?
Okay, thank you guys. Already, you guys, that has helped so much to get those stakes, just endow so much more of what you're saying in this scene. And, these words all have such weight to them for these characters, that each of the things that they're saying, the cost of saying that, of putting that out there, that they are both putting themselves out on limbs when they are offering these things to each other. And so having the stakes raised and having that be present in the scene helps so much. And that I would like to, moving forward, try to see if we can keep that, It can be difficult to keep that up and keep the stakes up there. And we did start to fade a little bit towards the end, but that if we can carry that all the way through the scene, that makes the scene run so much better. Now, I want to try something. So, before each of your lines that you have, I want you to say, "I need you." And so we're going to go back through and take the same section, and I want you to use that and utilize that, especially in this scene. I think more than any other scenes in a lot of ways, these two truly do need each other. This is something you can use with other scenes as well, but I think with this one in particular, I think you'll find it's very helpful. So let's take it back to that same moment of, even you have to admit, and before you say each of your lines, you're going to say, "I need you," to the other person.
Okay, give me a second, I gotta eat my...
So like, before every sentence or just every group of lines?
Every group of lines.
Okay. Sweet. I need you. Even you have to admit, after spending 4 or 5 days together, just the idea that you're going to go off and have sex with a bunch of other men is, not odd.
I need you. No, it is not odd, but what would I do for money?
I need you. I make a ton of money. I can, give you some. I would do that for a friend.
I need you. And what? Oh, I get to be like Hollywood pool
So
boy.
Jacob, let's take it back, and thank you both. Say it to your partner. For right now, we're going to do the scene with really truly say it to the other person in this moment.
Okay.
At the same time, I like the fact that both of you are keeping the tactics of what's happening in the scene. Instilling this extra little bit is going to help. So let's go back to I make a ton of money.
Okay. I need you. I make a ton of money. I would be more than willing to give you some. I'll do that for a friend.
I need you. And what? Oh, I get to be like Hollywood pool boy. The kept boy, Mr. Green's assistant.
I need you. God, no, stop that. I never even thought that. God, you must have low self-esteem.
I need you. A prostitute with low self-esteem. What'll they think of next?
Okay, thank you both. I think that we can still go further. Let's take it back, but just, I don't want to be, you guys to misunderstand. I like the fact that you guys kept the tactics when you're giving your lines, but these I need yous, I kind of do want them to really give that to you. Need your other in this scene. When you say it, truly need them with that line. And then what you say next, if you need your other in this scene, then what you say next, you're going to still be saying the same things, but how through that are you still trying to get what you want from the other person? Okay?
Okay.
So let's take it back to I make a ton of money.
I need you. I make a ton of money. I'd be more than willing to give you some. I would do that for a friend.
I need you. And what? I get to be like Hollywood pool boy. The kept boy, Mr. Green's assistant.
I need you. Oh God, stop. No, I never even thought that. God, you must have low self-esteem.
I need you. A prostitute with low self-esteem. what'll they think of next?
I need you. God, don't say that about yourself. You know, if you wanted, I have friends who hire jobs of like legitimate variety. I could call them and they could hire you.
I need you. That should end in tears.
All right, thank you guys. That's yes, 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 yes. I'm feeling so good about that actually. I don't mean actually in a bad way, but mostly I don't usually utilize this in this particular way. This is something that we usually do in our monologue, but you guys haven't done scoring with Vanessa yet, so I didn't want to necessarily do it in that way, but I still wanted to utilize this that you really do need the other person in the scene, and if that is the case, when you say these words that push, you know, when you say these words that are kind of pushing the other person away, how are we still using that in a way that we still do need each other, you know, and we are still wanting something from each other in the scene. Jacob, if you can tap into this every single time, it helps so much with the clarity of Alex says these things to push Mitchell away, but at the same time, he still needs him, you know? And there's a part of him that still wants and needs this relationship to work. And so instilling, you know, that no matter what he's saying, he still, you know, needs something from Mitchell in this scene. Okay, so let's go ahead and take it from, I mean, even you have to admit, and go ahead and drop the I need yous, but I want to see that. I want to see the stakes up there that if something goes wrong, if you say the wrong thing, then that person could walk out the door, and you need them.
Yeah.
And so how are you going to fight for what you want still, and fight for what your character wants, but at the same time navigating the fact that you still could lose that other person, you know? All right, thank you guys. Whenever you're ready.
I mean, even you have to admit, after spending 4 or 5 days together, it's just the idea of you going off to have sex with a bunch of other men is not exactly, you know, odd.
No, it is not odd. But what would I do for money?
I make a ton of money. I would be more than willing to give you some. I mean, I'd do that for a friend.
And what? Oh, I need to be like Hollywood Pool Boy. The kept boy, Mr. Green's assistant.
God, no, stop. I never even thought that. God, you must have low self-esteem.
A prostitute with low self-esteem. What do they think of next?
Don't say that about yourself. You know, if you wanted, I could. I have friends who hire people at jobs of like legitimate sort. I could call them and they could, you know, hire you.
That should end in tears.
It's your call. So, today, how many?
Clients?
And the euphemism flies?
3. No, 4. 2 uncles today, 2 plain.
Doesn't.
Why? You want me to quit?
I can't tell you. It's not my place to tell you, or to ask you. Do you want to at all?
The question was, what do you want?
What time do you think you'd be done?
All right, thank you guys. So yes. This you guys are starting to tap into this more and more as we go along, and I think that if you keep this, you know, keep what's going on right now, and then let's go ahead and keep things moving forward from here. And so I'm happy because I think you guys are really taking the stakes and using them to drive the scene, and I think we can go further with that as we work through. I almost didn't want to stop you guys because you are finding a lot of these moments, you know, and how you're fighting for what you want at the same time as navigating, you know, continually. But that's really what a majority of this scene is, and I mean most scenes really. Okay, so 2 uncles, 2 playing. What is an uncle?
I'm not really sure. Is it?
Okay, so when we begin the show, Alex is been hired by Mitchell, and he's kind of treating him like an uncle character, which it's basically role playing, you know, and that Alex has these clients who hire him and they role play with him, and so I can see you using this line against Mitchell, like we talked about, and that you want to, in these moments, kind of use the fact that you're a prostitute and that your confidence in that, I guess, in some ways, using that against Mitchell, and how that can help you gain that power back, you know? And so thinking about what is the difference between 2 uncles and 2 playing, you know? And knowing that we have had this occurrence earlier in the play where Alex has been hired on by Mitchell and has kind of tried to do this role playing with him to see if he was interested in that, you know? And so that history and instilling what that means to, what Alex knows that means to Mitchell. So let's take it back to, you know, if you wanted, I have friends. It's in the middle of the line that starts with, don't say that about yourself.
Okay. You know, if you wanted, I have friends who hire people for jobs of the legitimate variety. Like, I could call them and they could hire you.
That should end in tears.
It's your call. So, today, how many?
Clients?
And the euphemism flies.
3. No, 4. 2 uncles today, 2 playing.
Pleasant.
Why? You want me to quit?
I can't tell you. It's not my place to tell you what to, or ask you. Do you want to at all?
The question was, what do you want?
What time do you think you'd be done? Around?
Did you want to see me later?
Okay, let's take it back for a sec. Thank you, guys. Keep working for it, you know? I think we'll find our way there. Just keep working for that. What do you want? And how are you using these lines to get what you want from Mitchell? And just think about what is the difference between 2 uncles and 2 playing, you know? And just use that as Alex thinking about the difference. Okay. Do you want to at all? You say that. What do you mean in this moment?
I think he changes his mind because he's like, I can't tell you, it's not my place to tell you or to ask you. But then I think something runs through his mind and he's like, no, I don't care. I'm still gonna ask you, do you want to do this at all? And I think that I'm trying to figure out what clicks in his mind that makes him think, no, I'm justified to ask this question. So that's kind of, I'm thinking about it.
Okay. I think you are down the right path. What could happen? You know, once again, going back to a lot of things could go wrong in this scene for, you know, each of these characters. What could happen if you just told him?
Rejection, I think, is the biggest thing. Like if I
Just rejection?
Well, there's rejection is in like he's gonna leave.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's going to leave. me
Okay,
late.
so if you told him, and if you just told him to leave his,
Yeah,
then he would just leave.
yeah.
Or at least there's a possibility of that. Okay, so, but at the same time, what do you want?
I want to be with him, like in a monogamous relationship. I
Okay.
don't want him to see other people.
And you want him to? Okay, so use this line, and using this line to, you can't tell him, but you're still trying to tell him, you know?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Go ahead and take it back.
From
Let's go ahead and take it back to today, how many?
Okay.
And it's and the euphemisms fly.
Oh, okay, there's.
And so the euphemisms are the plural, the fly is the singular.
Okay. So today, how many?
Clients?
And the euphemisms fly.
3. No. 4. 2 uncles today and 2 playing.
Pleasant.
Why? You want me to play?
I can't tell you. It's not my place to tell you. Or ask you. Do you want to at all?
The question was, what do you want?
What time do you think you'd be done? Around.
Did you want to see me later?
God, talking to you is like sewing a button on cottage cheese. Yes! I guess I would like to see you later. I guess, sure.
Well, I should go back home, run some quick errands, pay rent. Ellen might be there. She's kind of taken over.
Is Ellen's your girlfriend?
I don't have a girlfriend.
And will Ellen be number 5?
Okay.
What?
Okay. What? Okay, can I just say okay? I see what you're doing here, okay? I mean, you're hemming and hawing your way around the whole being open to being happy and being content thing. And I admit, I'm all for it. But the thing of it is, there's going to come a time when you're going to say, I just want to be with you and you just to be with me.
I think we're getting so far ahead.
And I won't be able to do that.
Thank
Or
you, guys.
feel it.
So, yes, moving in the right direction. I think that we can still go further
Okay.
and still help specify that more,
Okay.
you know?